What's up, ninjas? So it's a little different one this time. I'm working on a lot of these mini bikes, so I'm just going to dedicate a little episode to working on the mini bikes. I really have a good time doing it. I love two-strokes, my favorite thing to work on besides classic cars. So this first one here is a 2002 Honda CR 80R. It's the last year they made an 80. After that, they went to the 85. It's in pristine condition. It's like almost new old stock. A customer of mine brought it to me. He got it for just a couple $100s, and he was really stoked. It's a 2002, so it's been, 24 years of it cruising around, and it has everything original still. Original grips. There's no wear marks on the side cases. The shroud, the plastics are all perfect. The seat was dirty, but I scrubbed it up a little bit, and it just started shining like it was brand new. The only sign of someone riding this bike is the front brake lever is tweaked over like they normally do, just bend it around, and then the front fork guards are yellowing with age because they're a different type of plastic that doesn't really weather too well. Other than that, this bike is like pristine. It is so brand new, and it's just like a time capsule of that era and the last 80 before they went to the 85s and the 105s, the super minis, all that stuff. So this thing is pretty well good. Like, I don't think we really have to replace anything major. I went ahead and started it. It started third kick. Of course, I drained out the gas prior to that. There wasn't much in there. A little bit of gunk I had to get out of there. I was kind of a pain in the butt, but got that out of there. And then just kind of shot a little bit of cleaner into the carb just in case. And then just put some fuel in it and turned it over. Was running a little bit rough. It sounded like it was lean to me, like it was hanging off idle. Instead of going back to idle, it would hang a lot, and that problem just kind of kept getting worse. And all of a sudden, it started doing a runaway, and I'm just like, whoa, what is going on here? And it was like gone, like completely pinned, and the throttle wasn't the throttle cable. I wasn't even on the throttle when it happened, and so I'm like, okay, air leak. So I started digging around, pulled the carburetor off because I figured, it's good measure for sitting so long, you got to clean that thing out. It was in good shape, so got the carburetor rebuilt, put that on. It started running perfect. I took it for a little lap around the block. I was coming back, I put it on the stand and I let it run for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it starts doing the same thing again. And so I'm messing with the air screw and the idle screw, and I'm trying to make it work, and it just would be perfect, and then all of a sudden go nuts. And so I've had problems like this before with a Mikuni that had some sketchy stuff in it, so I was kind of figuring something was up with the carburetor. And then I ran the compression and it was kind of low, pulled the plug, it was really oily. So yeah, nothing was really looking good there. Gave the client the news like, hey, we might have to dig into this. We got low compression, we might have to do top end, because I wanted further evidence before I went and had this guy buy a bunch of parts for a bunch of money. So I pulled the pipe off. The header wasn't really seated correctly on the flange, and so I got that kind of cleaned up and got that reseated, and then that really helped. And then I put a piece of heater hose over the junction of the header to the exhaust canister, and that really made a big difference, because usually they have a rubber grommet like that with some springs on it. And I mean, it's the next best thing. Fit really snug, so I didn't need any springs or anything, and the junction fit pretty well, but we just needed like a 1/2 inch of hose on each side, so I put that on there. And then I went to the reeds. So I pulled the air boot off and I pulled the reeds out, and the air boot inspected the air boot, it looked fine. And then inspected the reeds, and they had a little bit of gap that I did not like, so I flipped those around, cleared that gap up, and then basically put everything back together. It ran fine for a little while, and then it started doing it again. And I'm just like, what is going on? So then I went down to turn the idle screw way down because it was running away. And so when I turned the idle screw down, as soon as I barely touched the idle screw, it went back down to idle. So I instantly knew something was up with that idle screw. So when I did the carb rebuild, I removed the idle screw, I inspected it, it looked fine. I didn't really do a machinist level inspection on the piece. Where the idle screw goes in, it's not a flat flange like that, it's like this. And so the spring would go up against that and kind of cock, right? And so when I'm inspecting the idle screw, I noticed that it's got a little bend to it, like just the tiniest little bend. And so I'm like, uh-oh. And then I like get it in and I'm turning it in. And once you get it really under spring pressure, you can feel that it's tweaking because the threads are loose. So I'm like, there's my air gap right there. So thankfully I keep everything because I'm a pack rat. I had an old carb rebuild kit with parts that we didn't use, and it had the right idle screw with the right spring. And I got that on there, and I put a little O-ring on there as well to try and make sure to totally stop the air getting in that gap. And it just fired up perfectly. Well, all right, I got good news. Oh yeah, we got it going. The exhaust being sealed made a big difference. It sounded way better. Took it for a rip around the block. I was riding way better. I got better compression the second test. So yeah, the top end's got more life in it. In third gear, hammering it and pulling wheelies in this thing, and you know, I mean, it's crazy. It's sick. So basically, it's ready for my customer. I told him we can do levers, we can do all this other stuff, but you should just go ride the bike, see how it feels, see what you like, see what you don't like, and then we'll get a comprehensive list together of where to go with the bike and what direction, whether it's like handlebars, stiffer springs, better suspension, you know, all those kind of things. Because he's kind of a beginner rider, and you know, he just got this bike super cheap. So I think it's a good way in, and he's got kids, so essentially they'll be able to ride it too, and everybody wins. So tomorrow I'm going to go work on some KTMs, some new stuff, and that's for a customer out in La Mesa. I got to get this all broken down and contact my customer, so we'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. It's about 7:45. I'm about to head out to work on a KTM 85 SX. Gonna do a top end rebuild for a customer I work with a bunch. Let's get the car warmed up. I already got it loaded up, and we're gonna head out to La Mesa, which is about a half hour east of here. So let's do it. We just made it to La Mesa, cruising up one of the sides of Helix right now. And I'm really happy I'm not in that line. So I'm almost here to my customer's house, rural area. It's pretty cool. But yeah, this guy's a cool customer. He's got some pretty awesome bikes. He personally has a KTM 150 SX, which is pretty trick. He's got a couple mini bikes, I think like a Honda. Oh, they got a cool tractor in that yard. I need to go talk to those people. Trim the grass around it. I've seen it a few times. Channeling my inner Vice Grip garage. I want to just go rebuild some tractors. Anyways, yeah, so this kid just got into racing. He's working with a trainer. They have a program where they buy a bike, use it for so many hours, and then sell and get another one. He's got 2 extra bikes, gas, and an older KTM 85. And so I've been doing a bunch of work for them. They're going through stuff pretty quick. He's practicing every week and racing, I think, once or twice a month. So doing pretty good on it. He's getting better pretty quick. And his dad's cool. I've worked with him a bunch. He's had several bikes over the years that I've worked with him. And everything from like YZs to Hondas. Just got a nice clean garage to work in. Way too addicted to these things. Anyways, so we're here. This is the bike we're working on today. It's 2025, doing a top end and a hole shot device transfer from one bike to the other. And this is the soiree bikes I told you about. This is the older 85, which he's going to get rid of. This is his cybersecurity company. And this is his 150. And unfortunately, he just broke his elbow. Just went over the bars, sending it a little too hard. So he's on the mend right now. Says the painkillers aren't really working. Feel bad for him. But yeah, this is the Gas 85. Done a bunch of work on that. It's really nice. I dig the way this bike looks. And then a couple little Chinese electricals. Little guy over here. Looks like he got rid of the Honda. He had a Honda 110 in here. Yeah, she must be gone. Anyways, let's get to this thing. Let's see what kit we got. So we got sprocket in there, rear sprocket. Vertex 85 SX 18 to 24. So that should work. And then what we got here? Oh, compression test kit. That's cool. Let's get to it. Head off, the old piston out. Didn't look too bad. A little bit of carbon buildup, but pretty clean otherwise. Had to do a bit of cleaning, a bunch of grime and stuff, still gotta do a little bit more. So we got the new piston here, Vertex, new gasket kit, O-rings, etc. We're gonna measure the width of this, grab the matching thickness base gaskets, and we're gonna put those on there. And then we should be good to go. Just put everything back together, and Bob's your uncle. So let's do it. Going. We tried to replace the rear sprocket, but they gave us the wrong one. This is for a full-size bike, so can't do that today, but we pulled the front wheel off because they changed up the forks, and this is the hole shot device I installed last time I was here, and they don't have the hook here, so I have to take off this bumper, pull this hook, put it there, line it up, get the forks back in the bike, and then we're done for today. So let's finish up. Got everything back together. Got that hole shot device hooked up. Need a little bit of alignment, but I got it dialed. Got the exhaust back on. Started her up, just purring. Just straight to idle, no problem. I'm heading back home to the shop, so I'll catch you over there. So that's gonna do it for this time. Really had a good time working on these little bikes. Hope to have a lot more to work on in the future. And a little bit bigger, 125s, 250s, 300s. Maybe that new Kawasaki KX327. 327X. I don't know if any of you guys saw that, but basically on Two Stroke Tuesday last week, the entire internet was this bike. If you ride dirt bikes, at least every social media was posting it. Everybody was just awestruck, really stoked on Kawasaki. Their stock went way up, so good luck to them with that whole project. I can't wait to ride one. Anyways, we're out of here. Subscribe if you can. It's free, and then you can see when I post stuff. And give it a like, give it a comment. Really helps the channel. And until then, I'll see you when I'm looking at you.